New faces, new debates, every single week.
Let me say something that absolutely can't be debated.
It's time for Fight Night with Alex Strouf.
Welcome back to another episode of Fight Night. I'm Alex Strouf, and on Monday we posed the question, is there really a real contender outside of the Saints, Rams, Patriots, or Chiefs? We blew up the comment section, and well, I had a lot of displeased people, a lot of Chargers fans, a lot of Bears fans. So I thought I'd bring in a Bears fan for him to tell me why exactly I'm wrong. So we're joined this week by Brant Bednarz of Chicago, Illinois. Brant, how are you?
Amazing. Glad to be here with you. I'm very honored to have the privilege to come on as a man that was on First Take statement. So I'm just very happy to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. So, as mentioned, I mean, you were not happy with the fact I did not count the Bears as a contender. Tell me why.
Well, so I think we can start from the front office, okay? So Ryan Pace comes in a couple years ago, okay? And people have no idea what he's going to do, okay? Because Virginia McCaskey's 95 years old. The Bears, the owner of the Bears family, we don't know what's going to happen next. So what he decides to do is, because Cutler has been stinking it up for 9 years, okay? Statistically, he's the best quarterback in Bears history. But he can't do anything in the playoffs. He's not a clutch player. He's not a leader. So Ryan Pace shakes up the 2017 draft, trades a couple of picks to go up to the number 2 pick for Mitch Trubisky, okay? He only played 1 season in North Carolina. And a lot of people were like, oh, how stupid of the Bears to do that, including the people sitting near me right now. And then, of course, Mitch Trubisky, a decent first year. And then this year, with new head coach Matt Nagy, who Ryan Pace hired, okay? So Ryan Pace first drafts Mitch Trubisky and then hires Matt Nagy, who is an offensive-minded coach. He's a former quarterback, okay? And so now Matt Nagy is with second-year quarterback Mitch Trubisky. And they have Tariq Cohen, who's only 5'5". He's a beast, okay? And now, but the main thing is that John Gruden really helped out the Chicago Bears, okay? He gave them Khalil Mack, okay? Not a good trade. We'll see how it goes to the Raiders in the next couple of years. But the Bears have really, really benefited from Khalil Mack's presence, okay? They went the Super Bowl odds at the beginning of the season, the day that Mack came to Chicago, just like they skyrocketed for the Bears. And the reason that I think that they should be a contender is because in 2016, the Denver Broncos, 15-16 season, the Broncos had the best defense in the NFL, bar none, okay? Peyton Manning, not that good of a season that year. It was his last year, but Von Miller and the Broncos defense carried them to a Super Bowl win against the best offense in the NFL, which was the Carolina Panthers. This year, the best offense in the NFL is arguably the Rams. Chiefs are up there too. But we're going to go with the Rams here because the Rams marched into Soldier Field on Monday Night Football, and they scored 6 points against the Bears defense. 6 points, okay? And as I like to say, that defense wins championships. And if the Bears keep this up, as you said in a comment, you said the Bears defense is scary good, I believe. And you're very right. And the offense can only go up from here.
You're right. And I think that's a good end of your argument because the offense can only go up from here because they have a second-year quarterback who's not even the best in his draft class. They have some running backs who maybe some problems going to get ironed out. The defense, obviously, very good. I mean, Baltimore's good. Los Angeles is good. New Orleans is okay. Chicago's pretty darn good. They're right up there in every major statistical category as all 11 defense. Now, look, in order to actually win championships in today's NFL, you need an offense. Yeah. And the Bears, you kind of smoothed that over. You went right over that fact. The Bears, they don't really have it. Against a team like Los Angeles, they only put up 15. I mean, it was a 15-6, pretty boring Monday night game that should have been really good. It wasn't in the game. I won't say it won't. But look, I mean, a team that has such a great defense allowed the Giants to score 30 points on them, and they lost the game because the offense wasn't good enough against a pretty bad defense in the Giants. They lost to the Dolphins, who put up 31 points on that defense.
4 games by a total of 14 points. Right. And the worst loss of the season, week 1 against Green Bay. Awful. Come from behind win for the Packers.
I'm going to smile for that one, yeah.
That's okay. But you won't smile after this one because the Bears got sweet revenge for that one and showed why they deserve to be division champions. But I do understand your offensive arguments. It can only go up from here, though. Mr. Trubisky's only in his 2nd season. But yes, there were some bad games. Miami. New England lost by a yard. Okay, Hail Mary at the end of the game, 1 yard short. Four losses by a total of 14 points. The record doesn't even speak. It speaks well enough. 10-4 is solid, but it could be just as easily. It could be 12-2. I mean, come on.
But look, I mean, in order to win football games, you need to put up points. We know this. I mean, very few games that you guys have won that the Bears have won have been outside of one-score games. The only games outside of one-score games is the win over the Buccaneers, who were awful. You played quarterbacks like Ryan Fitzpatrick and James and Jameis Winston. 48-10, good ball game, right?
Fitzmagic.
He wasn't in that game. Sam Darnold and the Jets, 23-10. 23 points against an awful Jets offense and defense. Then you beat Buffalo 41-9. Okay, you're putting up points. And then you beat the Lions 34-22. You're putting up points. That's outside of one score. And then you beat the Rams 15-6. Every other game has been within one score for the Bears, even the bad teams. The only real opponent the Bears have faced this year are the Rams. And, yeah, their defense only held them to 6, but that's not going to happen again. Jared Goff had statistically the worst game of his career, throwing 4 interceptions. And you think the Rams – and it won't
be a coincidence? I don't think so.
It's not –
I don't think that's a coincidence.
It's a coincidence. That's fine, but I don't think history repeats itself in that aspect. I don't think Los Angeles is going to allow the Bears to hold them to 6 points when you have – people like Jared Goff, Todd Gurley, Brandon Cooks, the list goes on, to not even score a touchdown.
Did we?
What's that?
We didn't think that would happen. We didn't think that would happen Monday Night Football either, but
we didn't think the Bears would only put up 15 either. You're right. But when it comes to the end of the day, the teams you're going to be looking at coming out of the NFC are the Rams and the Saints. The Saints, statistically, are the best defense in the NFL. They are allowing the least amount of rush yards of any team in the NFL. That's a D-line led by Cameron Jordan. The Rams D-line is led by the 2018 Defensive Player of the Year, Aaron Donald. Put some respect on his name.
Yeah, okay.
Look, there's defenses that can stop the Bears' offense. The Rams, if they are to meet again, will put up more than 6 points. That is a promise. I will put my life savings on that. The Bears are not there yet.
Remember that.
They will be there, but they are not there yet. There is at least 2 teams in the NFC, if not 3 or even 4 because I'm biased, but there's definitely 2 teams in the NFC better than the Bears, and I do not see them getting out of maybe the second round.
I want to say one more thing about the Saints because you love them so much. Okay?
Oh, I totally
So I know there's been a lot of inconsistency in the NFL this year, a lot of it. But the
Saints, parity, you're right.
The Saints, okay, flying high, huge win streak. They lose to Dallas, all right? Dallas was on a hot streak, five-game win streak. They lose to Dallas. They scored single digits. I believe they scored 9 points in that game. I'm not positive, but the Saints, awful, abysmal offensive performance. And then this past week, the Cowboys get shut out by Indianapolis. Okay, there's a lot of inconsistency.
2 playoff teams.
There is, and the Saints were on a 10-game win streak. And I understand that you don't think the Bears' offense is up to par.
It's not.
But my brain cannot stop pondering the 2015-16 Broncos and the Panthers and how the Bears did the same thing to the Rams. I did not think the Bears had any chance of being a top 2 or 3 NFC team. And I do understand the offensive argument, but this is head coach Matt Nagy's first season. Okay, and this is only his first year. He is, I believe, the only Bears coach since the 1960s to go to the playoffs in his first season, or maybe it's win the division. Something like that. But Matt Nagy is absolutely unbelievable, and this is his first season. Mitch Trubisky's second season. The offense can only go up. And if Khalil Mack plays like this, one of the best defensive players in the NFL, up there with Aaron Donald, and, I mean, if he continues this for the rest of his career, we can compare him to Lawrence Taylor in a few years. What do you think?
Yeah, but you realize it's an 11-person game. There's 11 people on the field for each team at one point. Yeah. Khalil Mack obviously changed that defensive game. He elevated that team to a whole nother level that nobody expected, even you, like you've admitted. However, I will still take the Saints. I'll still take the Rams over the Bears every day of the week. And you mentioned that whole Saints spiel. The Cowboys are going to be a playoff team. Indianapolis will likely be a playoff team. Losing to the Giants late in the year, not excusable. And allow it if the defense is so great. And I know explosive offenses win football games. The Giants definitely have an explosive offense, although it's maturing, it's getting better, it's young, whatever, with Saquon Barkley, LBJ. Explosive offenses
not young. Yeah, the part that aggravated me the most from your video was that you said the Rams and the Saints don't. Like, it wasn't even close. Like, there's no team that would give them a run for their money. Like the way you phrased it, I took offense to that. But I just wanted to bring up the Bears defense. But I understand the offensive argument and how the Rams and Saints are the top two. I promise I do. I just believe that everyone was sleeping on the Chicago Bears until they beat the Rams. And then people opened their eyes. But then you said runaway decision, and I didn't know if that was the appropriate way. Jared Goff is just as inexperienced as Mitch Trubisky. Okay, we know.
He's got a playoff. He's got a playoff game.
If he gets
he's already been in the playoffs.
He's in the playoffs.
Already been in the playoffs.
I mean, too much uncertainty.
There is a lot of uncertainty. I love that he's at a restaurant. I haven't even mentioned that yet. I love the venue. Are you going to go win some stuff out of hot stuff at some point?
Video poker, actually. I'm going to go win something.
Good stuff. Anyway,
winning.
To my final point, we're going to get to final round in a second, Brant. But to your last point, I never said it was runaway decision. I just know these are the two best teams in the NFC. These will be the 1 and 2 seed, and they will be in the NFC Championship game. I think there will be some disruption in week 1. It's going to be the Bears at 3 versus number 6, and we'll see who that becomes, whether it's Seattle, whether it's Philadelphia, whoever it becomes. I think the Bears will win in Soldier Field week 1 of the playoffs. I don't think I don't think I'll run away from that, but I don't think it's crazy if they lose either. Clearly, offenses can score on them. We've seen that time and time again.
Yeah,
it's not like this defense is unscorable on, or this defense is just all decade, all century. They're out of this world. They're not. They're very good. But this offense can't really – I mean, they can put up points against pretty bad teams, and it's not good. You mean, they allowed the Cardinals and Josh Rosen and Sam Bradford, who split time in that game. It was a 16-14 game. And I know it's early in the season and things have evolved.
It was very early.
Nonetheless, I think that the Bears are beatable, and the Saints and the Rams, as long as they can get some momentum rolling into the playoffs – I don't see a team touching them because those are 2 of the 3 best teams in football. Let's get to final round. It's where you get to wrap your whole argument into a last-minute segment. Brant, we'll start with you. Give me it in final round.
All right, well, you just said if the Saints and Rams build up momentum that no one can touch them. So that's kind of what I was just getting at a little bit earlier. But, yes, there are a couple early season Bears games that you mentioned, whether it be the Packers Week 1 game, Do Not Smile, or the Arizona Cardinals. Very sad, 16-14 game. Giants losing to the Giants in overtime. There have been disappointments, and no, it is not an all-decade defense. I said in my original comments on Monday Night Football, okay, biggest game of the season, the Rams, who just came off of 2 weeks before this game, they had a 54-point game against the Kansas City Chiefs. 54 points they scored, and then they go into Soldier Field and they score 6. And I know history won't repeat itself in this way, but I took offense to your Rams and Saints runaway arguments because the Saints, they were on a 10-game win streak, and then they showed they were vulnerable by losing to the Cowboys. Rams showed they were vulnerable by only scoring 6 in Chicago. And so, yes, the Bears are beatable, but so are the Rams and the Saints. And while I will concede that they are the top 2 teams of the NFC, the Bears are right on their tails. And I just hope that you do not continue to sleep on them over these next 2 weeks, the final 2 weeks of the regular season.
That's fair. Let me end with this. I think I've made it pretty darn clear the whole time. I mean, the Rams and the Saints are the 2 best teams in the NFC, right? But there's also a whole lot of parity in the NFL. Anything can happen any week, and that's why we all love and adore the NFL. But look, what's not going to happen when it comes to be the time is the Bears offense all of a sudden putting up 60 points or 40 points, even 35 points in a playoff game. They're not going to do it. The defense can hold the other team. That's their job, and they're good enough to do so. Khalil Mack, payroll, Danny Trevathan, and other names. Eddie Jackson, if he comes back healthy, hopefully.
Eddie Jackson, unbelievable, right.
He ended Aaron Rodgers' interception streak off the hands of Jimmy Graham, but that's beside the point. Look, the Bears defense is good, and that's your whole argument. Yes, they are. The offense isn't, and there's other teams that will go in and absolutely tear up the Bears defense because it's doable. Every team's vulnerable, but I wouldn't be shocked if we see a 6 seed go into Soldier Field and beat the Bears. That wouldn't surprise me.
Well, I might.
The Rams in LA,
That's a hot take.
it's not a hot take because the Bears are not as good as you're making them out to be. They might be 10-4, but they are not a great football team.
10-4 with 4 losses. They're not great. Are they elite? I think they're elite.
No. This Bears team will be forgotten about in 2 years because they are not a team that everybody's looking and going, holy crap, this is revolutionary. People are looking at the Chiefs, who have lost football games. People are looking at the Rams, who have lost football games, and saying, holy crap, they're changing how the way the game is played. It's with a good defense, and the Chiefs' pass defense is very bad. I'll leave that off the table. But the Rams' defense, it's okay. It's good enough. And that's how you win Super Bowls. Even though we look at the 2015 season and say, wow, the Broncos had a really good defense. Wow, the Panthers had a really good defense. Experience will win football games.
Oh, they had a really good offense.
Peyton Manning, who was old and not playing great, still went out on top because he had experience. The Bears don't have that. They have a good defense, but they're out in the first or second round. If they're in the NFC Championship game, I want you to just take this show from me. That's what I want. You can have it.
All right, I'll do it. My good man.
This week's episode. Brant Bednarz from Chicago, Illinois. Thank you, my friend. It's been a blast. Remember, if you liked it, vote for who you thought won. If you're on mobile, press that little purple poll button. And if Brant beats me in a poll, well, he'll join me at the end of February for our quarterly, every 3 months. We'll do it 4 times a year, roundtable with all the winners. Ray Lynn from last week. He's already in. You guys thought he beat me. And that will do it for this week. We'll see you on Christmas Eve, Monday. Brant, thanks so much.
Thank you very much.